Good. So I'm a same thing like earlier. I'm gonna come in, take a seat. I definitely need some food in my system for this lift I'm about to do in a couple hours. Do you want me to address you by Wolf or your name? It's whatever for me and my audience. Like, how would you like me to address you?
Here, I'll do the same thing I do for other people. We'll do this.
Oh, he got the passport, y'all. No, let me stop. All right.
So, yeah, you can call me by Wolfgang.
Oh shit! All right, Wolf. So, thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for participating and telling your story and your likes with cosplay. Like I've told many others. My channel has definitely come on. I have a like for the cosplay realm. I have not cosplayed yet. Believe it or not, I'm using y'all as like a stepping stone to get out of my shell and find something I like and cosplay. That's why I wanted to talk to different cosplayers. But I'm pretty sure there's other likes that we have. I want to give a big shout out to Diana. She set this up. I ask that you bear with me as we see the nervousness. I didn't even put my mics on. I ask that you bear with me during this interview. I go off flow and I go off energy. So that's where the questions come into play. I'm not the type to just write something down on a pad and then just be like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? I'm going to get to learn you, and then that's when the questions come. So that, like I said, you can look at me the whole time. You can look at the camera, whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So with that being said, please introduce yourself. However you want to introduce yourself. You can start with your likes, your age, where you're from. Introduce yourself, and I'll go from there.
Cool. My name is Wolfgang. I do a lot of cosplay and 3D printing. That's actually kind of all I do now. For work, I 3D print bones, like orthopedic implants. And then at home, I make costumes and swords and all the other fun stuff. So my whole living room is a little workshop that I have all my stuff in. But that's pretty much it. Diana's got me into being more fit recently.
You like it? Like what you see in the mirror? Especially when that bicep pop out and you'll be like, yeah, now let me stop.
No, it's funny. So like, to me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just me still. But like her and Rams will be like, oh, you look bigger today. And I'm like, do I?
You just go, yeah. Keep it coming. Now let me stop. But now, you say 3D print. So what is that? You say that's what you do for work. So for my curiosity and my audience, so what got you into that? What are the credentials to do that? But anyway, yeah.
So just like a lot of things in my life, actually, I realized I just kind of full sent it out of nowhere. And here I am now. Just kind of snowballs into something. So during COVID lockdown, I was living in New York, upstate, and working at Home Depot overnight. So I would work 9 p.m. to 5:30 in the morning and wouldn't see the sun like all winter out there.
You was a bad man for real, weren't you? Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like eating once a day. My workout was lifting grills at work onto the shelves and stuff. Like, yeah, it wasn't great. Wasn't a great time.
You needed a meal in you. Anyway, no, I'm good. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I watch Adam Savage, the guy from Mythbusters with the crazy hair, like the fedora. No Mythbusters?
Not at all. Like, bro. So I'm 10-second tidbit about me. I'm a creature of nature, so it's. I mean, I will look into it because you mentioned it, but it's like certain things like that people have talked about in their interviews. Like they'll say something, if I don't know, I legit do feel out of place because I'm like, fuck, I ain't got nothing to relate to. But no, I mean,
there's a lot of different stuff that like you're probably gonna bring up stuff where I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Like, you know,
got you.
It is what it is. Quick summary for you: it was a show on the Science Channel where they would take different
sci-fi,
myths.
like the Sci-Fi Channel or a science, like actual science.
I think Sci-Fi was on the Science Channel too. Or was it two? Was it two channels? I can't remember.
It was
Anyway,
Discovery.
it was Discovery. That's what it was. It was Discovery Channel. But yeah, basically they would just take different myths, like random stuff from movies or different stuff that like was a popular myth at the time, and they would basically do a whole experiment where they'd rig it up with like test dummies and motion cameras and all this stuff to see, is it true or is it not? And that was the whole show. So they just do a bunch of these crazy different things to see like they took a car and they put, like, you know how golf balls are pitted so that way they like fly.
Got you.
Normal?
Yeah. Got
so
you.
they went, what if we pit a whole car like a golf ball? Will it be more aerodynamic and save gas?
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. And
Are they rich?
it worked so
That
well
sounds
that
like a
like
good
the
money.
car companies went and they like a couple car companies emailed them and said, hey, we tried it and it did work, but they have no idea how to implement that in a way that people would actually buy, or like in a way that wouldn't take a lot of time to make.
So we don't have flying cars yet. Damn.
Well, not flying, but like just a little golf ball like dents all over it.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stuff like that. You get the idea. Anyway, so he also got his start working on Star Wars. So he worked behind the scenes making like the movie set stuff for the show. So now that he's retired, he just sits in his garage. It's a giant thing with all his tools. But his excitement is contagious. Cause you know how Rams always has the energy, and like he'll be talking about like
Big shout out to Rams. Yeah.
he'll be talking about like just doing some deadlifts, and you're like, yeah, all right, yeah, you know. It's just the same thing. Like Adam will be in his
Let's
garage.
put 500 pounds on the bar and lift it up.
Yeah,
sure.
so
Yeah, sure. But yeah,
So he's like, yeah, I got this wrench yesterday, and he'll start talking about it, and I'm like, that is a cool wrench, yeah, like just I don't know how he just gets you excited about whatever he's got.
because that's his craft. So
Yeah.
that's a love for his craft and his art.
And so he had got a 3D printer and did a little video on it. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Why not? It was like $250. So I bought one. And then set it all up, printed the first little like cube that test like to see. And as I'm watching it go around and make this little cube, I was just like, oh yeah, this is cool.
So with the 3D printer, like what materials are used that goes into the printer to make, so like let's say it wouldn't be the actual phone, but a model of a phone. So like I say, hey, make me a model of this phone real quick. Like what materials would be used to print that out, if that makes sense?
That's like a whole degree field now. Like how she was talking about chemical engineering. If you have that same degree, you could go into like just making polymers and plastics.
Okay. But that's the material okay.
So like the most basic one that most hobbyists use is called PLA, and it's made from cornstarch.
Okay.
So you can biodegrade it commercially. Like you can't just throw it out in the yard and it'll degrade. But like if you put it in a machine and biodegrade it and everything, it'll recycle.
I could be wrong. I'm asking. So is there a level of sis? Can you please? The anxiety is getting. Can you make sure those are still just recording still for me? Is there a level of hazardous to those? We're good. Appreciate you. Is there a level of hazard to that, like as far as waste or anything, or no? I'm overthinking it.
You're not. The problem is it's so new at this scale that we're basically the guinea pigs for.
Oh.
So it's basically you have to be overly careful because it's like so the ones that I have, it's self-contained in its own box. With an air filter in there that pushes it all through a filter. So that way everything that's in the box stays in the box. That way you're not breathing in whatever it is releasing. And then as far as like waste products goes, you can like all of my like little extra bits and pieces that are not for the print, I put it all in a big box, and you can shred it down and melt it back down, and you can string it back out and then put it back in the machine. So it is something that you can recycle through.
So allow me that. So what are some things that I guess you've made, like I guess work related, or actually like what are some things that you've made for me to know and the audience, because this is, I've heard about it. It's not like I looked into it, but I'm over here thinking like, like high-end corporations or companies have this, and they are the only type of people that use it. But like, what is some of the things you've made with that printer, if you don't mind me asking? I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I got these on here.
So you've made accessories?
Yeah. So like they just go on like buttons if it'll come off.
I got you. But it's.
But yeah. So underneath there's another piece, and then you sew it on like a button.
My bad, bro. Just make so this is like plastic, not metal. Yeah. But so you can make. So what else have you made? Like have you been able to make costumes with that or anything?
Yeah. So I'll start with at work because that's the simple contained one. So at work we make different pieces for if you get like let's say you get bone cancer, right? And they got to take like your shoulder bone. If they leave it, it'll spread and like take you out, right? So they have to take out your shoulder. So we print so there's two printers that work. We print one that's like liquid, and when you hit it with like UV light, it hardens. And the other one is it like layers metal dust, like titanium and cobalt, and then it hits it with a laser, and the laser goes around and traces the shape, and then more powder, laser, and it'll build up a metal piece, and then you polish that.
So my bad, might be.
No,
it can legit be used for bone reconstruction.
Yeah. No, so the metal pieces that they make go in the body, and the liquid polymer one that I make is like the tester. So they'll cut the bone out. So they print a cut guide, right? This is all like, it's all very, the doctor knows exactly how much to take off. They put a little guide on there, they take the piece off. The one I make is like the bone attached to a little handle, and they'll stick that in there and be like, does it fit? And then we have like small, medium, large. And so they'll put it in, does that fit? No, we need a large one. Put it in, okay, that one fits. So then they'll go and they'll grab the large size metal one that we printed, and they'll stick that in there and it gets screwed in and everything. And then the bone, like the tissue around it will grow into the metal piece because there's like some hollowness to it, and it'll grow into that, and the body will think that it's just like more bone. So basically what they do before they put the metal one in there, they take some tissue, and there's a little like space inside, and they'll shove some of your tissue in there. And then when they put it in, and the body will touch that and go, oh, it's just more bone, and it'll grow into it, and then now you just have a metal shoulder.
So many fucking questions, and I hope I can remember all of them. Hey, so attention span of a squirrel. Y'all bear with me. It's on the tip of my tongue, brother. The measurements, like for the replacement, do they have to be precise or anything? So let's say you do a 3D print and it, not being funny, but like that shoulder piece doesn't fit. Yeah. Do you for something like that in 3D printing, because that seems. Before I get to that, bear with me, brother. So how come something like that promoted in the medical field? That sounds like a lifesaver. Yeah. What you just said. So how?
So they have ones that are like generic, like this size, you can put it in. They do have some discomfort to them.
Okay.
So our company specializes in custom ones.
Okay.
So what they'll do is, like, let's say this shoulder's bad, but your other shoulder's good. When you're at the hospital, they'll scan your good shoulder with like a CT scan.
And get the measurements off that.
They give us the CT scan, and then our designers will take the CT scan, make a model that's your exact size and like your exact shape. Because like when I sit there and I go through like a bunch of shoulders every day, they're all like the same thing, but they're all a little bit differently shaped.
Okay.
And so what we'll do is, it is literally a custom design of the exact size and the exact shape of your healthy shoulder, and we just mirror that and put it on the other side. So that
something
way
like
it does
that
fit exactly in.
Something like that between the 3D printing and the precision, something like that is not cheap, is it?
No, not at all.
So is that why I'm asking, is that why it's probably not like known like that in the medical field? That
it is fairly new.
Okay.
So
is it safe? I'm asking.
No, you're good. It is safe. So Diana, part of her job is like arguing with the FDA about like, is this safe for her company?
That explains where the fierceness comes in this
Yeah. So if you know anything about the FDA, like, they don't play. If it doesn't pass what they want, it's not going in a person. So it's the same with us. Like, when I go to work, our lab is in a little box, and so I have to go to work, put my lab coat on, hairnet on, shoe covers on, the sanitized gloves, everything. So like, I'm all like gowned up when I go in there, because we can't have like, you know, a piece of hair falling in the print and getting in there, or like if there's if there's any imperfection in the thing when I'm sanding it, like I'm under a magnifying glass, and like if there's like a little chip in it, we have to do it again, reprint it. So we vary. And there's like layers of paperwork to each step too. That like, did you do this thing? When you washed it, how much? You have to measure everything. Like the temperatures are all measured. Everything's all documented and measured in a way that like, yeah, it's safe. It's all there. It's all.
If you don't mind me asking, like, so as far as what I mean by the credentials, like, what type of school would you have to go to? You can't be no dumbass in that field. That's what I'm getting from that. But yeah, so what type of school or career path would you have to do exactly what you're doing, if that makes sense?
So it depends what at like my job you're doing.
Okay.
Because I actually don't have a degree.
Okay, so so it's like a job.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, when you said blown replacement, I thought cha-ching. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, but I was thinking that's something that, with everything medical wise, whether it's skin disease, cell, whatever. There's a lot of issues health-wise in the world.
Yeah.
Something like that to me, I could be overanalyzing, but to me that sounds like a necessity that could probably
it's one of those things, like it goes from spending 2 months in the hospital to like they put it in and like a week later you're walking around doing
the same shit you were doing before. Yeah, so that,
well, maybe not like lifting, but you know, you
okay,
can
yeah, I get that, because you go do an overhead press and that bitch snaps. So yeah, I get it. But no, that you put me on games. I damn, now I'm looking at 3D printing more. And you said it's like, when you say fairly new, like early 2000s, late 2000s.
I don't know the whole time. It's like obviously they've been making the first one since like the 60s, 70s. Mm-hmm. But like with every technology, it was complete garbage compared to now.
Okay.
But now, I think it used to be like every 2 years technology like doubles in how complex it is or how good it is. But now it's more like every like half a year.
Gotcha.
Like the resin printer that I have at home, I got 2 years ago from our store. And the ones that we have now, for the same price, is so much better than what I have that it's, so like everything just keeps going. And like there's new stuff now with 3D printing where like I'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen it all, like I've learned kind of everything about it, and then somebody like some college student was like, here's my new project, and everybody's like, whoa.
Okay.
Like there's this little one where instead of like it taking liquid, and what it does is it hits the UV from the bottom and it lifts it up, UV lifts it up, right, and builds it up that way. Mm-hmm. There's a guy who made this like little jar of like gel kind of, and it projects through the side and it just rotates the jar, and it can print the whole thing at once inside the jar. And so what takes us like 5 hours to make like one bone would take him like 20 minutes. But the only problem is the jar is only like this big. So once he figures out how to get it to work bigger, then what we have now will be obsolete, and then we'll switch to that probably.
Do you see a major advancement in 3D print? Everything you just said, attention span of a squirrel and all, I'm still thinking necessity, something that's needed. Do you feel like they'll be able to 3D print one day, like legit bone marrow, if it continues? I'm asking.
No, there's actually somebody working on printing organs right now. So instead of spitting out plastic, it spits out stem cells into a gel with a little needle, and they've made.
I'm getting zombie vibes.
Yeah, I think so far they've successfully made a heart that can pump, but just like the whole FDA thing, like
we just 3D printed a brain. Don't you put that in nobody? Oh my goddamn.
Well, yes, it's like they made a heart or lungs or something like that. But then, of course, testing it is the hard part, because you're like, okay, it pumps, but then like
we need a willing live subject.
But of course, you can't do that until you've tested everything else. So so there's things that exist right now that not a lot of people know about, because it is still just in a lab being tested on day in and day out until
you're not going to disappear for putting this information out, are you?
No.
I'm just making sure.
It's public knowledge. It's just like you don't know about it unless like
you know them people and you know the suits and shit. Yeah, can you come with us real quick? No, but I'm being funny. I apologize. How about this? And then I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent. That was interesting. I learned something. Is that an aspect of your job that you enjoy? That to me, that sounds fun.
Yeah. So this is. I remember earlier you were talking about like a lot of us kind of hate our day jobs.
Yeah.
This is the first job that I actually don't wake up and go, oh, I gotta go to work.
Okay.
Because it is more of what I already enjoy doing at home,
okay.
And also I'm doing something that like is benefiting somebody directly. Like you see you can, like I haven't met any of the patients, but like that hey, I'm making this thing that's gonna make someone's life better directly.
You're changing lives.
Yeah. So it is nice to wake up and be like, oh cool, like I'm going to work. I'm gonna do it, and it helps that my boss isn't trash and everybody like treats each other nice. I've worked all restaurants and Home Depot and Family Dollar and stuff before this.
Yeah. Fuck customer service and fuck them people. Fuck them kids. Now let me stop. So, hey, on some real shit, thank you for that. I know that wasn't anime or cosplay related, but that was...
It's like the prerequisite for the whole, like, thing that I do. So, yeah.
I got you. Thank you. What you're doing sounds like it's very beneficial to mankind, and that's actually a good thing. Hopefully it doesn't become like a money grabber later on in the future and shit.
Yeah.
But keep doing what you're doing. That's some real ass shit right there. So... Now we get into the plate. Finally. Yeah.
So we put it all on there now.
Yeah. Anime, right? So how old were you when you were first introduced to anime? Like what did you watch? What did you see? Yeah.
So this is a fun story. I think I told Diana this one. So as a kid, my mom didn't let me really watch anime.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah. So like I had Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon and all that stuff and the VHS movies where you're.
May I ask why is that kind of too personal? Like
No, you're fine. You can ask.
Mom, I'm not going.
I'm my mom's first kid. So
Okay,
I was the like she didn't helicopter parent me, but she was like, I want to make sure he's like safe and taking care of it.
So she was very mindful of what you watched and what you.
Okay. But like now with so my next sister is 8 years younger than me.
Okay.
But like all of them.
Oh, so you the big brother for real? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so like all of them, they already watch anime and like everything because of me. So like
you're welcome. When
Chainsaw Man was coming out, I was gonna watch the anime.
Okay.
My sister's like she was like a freshman in high school, and she's like, yeah, I've already read the manga. I was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, yeah, like I can't wait till you get to the vomit kiss scene. I'm like, the what? So yeah, like I got into it late because of that, but like all my siblings are already like huge.
So I get like maybe a base. I consider it anime, but like maybe like Pokemon or
I actually
or
didn't get into Pokemon either.
Huh?
Yeah, I had some of the cards, but I never got like into the anime or anything.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Nope. No Digimon.
Shaolin Showdown? That's not a good anime. It's a cartoon. Damn.
Yeah.
So were you a kid or a teenager when you were introduced to anime?
I think it was teen.
Okay, so we'll go. Damn.
Yeah.
I understand anyway. Yeah. What anime was it that made you go, oh shit?
So this is the funny story. Okay. I visit my dad over the summers out in Nebraska, and there wasn't really anything to do out in the cornfields over there. So me and my stepbrother would like be in the basement playing games or doing whatever, and so he would watch like Adult Swim stuff. And
hey, so you guys started right. Continue.
Yeah, so Toonami would come on, and I was playing something on the PS3, and I turned the PS3 off and switched it back to TV so you could fall asleep to it. And Toonami comes on. And I was just watching it for a minute. I was like, I wonder what this is. Because like I knew it was anime, but I didn't know what it was. And it's like, it's like in the middle of the season in some episodes. So no idea, just
a lot of screaming and shouting and blood and guts out of it. Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, like what's this guy doing? He's walking down the street, some dog looking thing, and then they go down an alleyway. And
typical anime intro.
Yeah. And so it was Full Metal Alchemist. It was the scene.
Who's your favorite character? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it was the scene where Scar kind of takes care of the dog girl all over the wall. So that was the first.
Did you go?
I saw it and I was like, "What?" I turned that off. Okay, well,
interesting.
And then like a couple years later, I'm back at my dad's house and
wait, Scar or wait, you say the
Full Metal Alchemist? Scar.
No. So I've watched both.
I can't remember if it was Brotherhood or the original.
Okay, sorry, continue. Because when you say dark, that's a very sensitive.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was like, oh my god.
So his first anime I ever saw was the dog girl just getting blasted up on the wall.
Okay.
And then a couple years later, like I had some friends that were in anime. They're like, oh, like you should like here's like the starter anime. You watch SAO and Full Metal Alchemist.
So they didn't put you on Berserk like they did.
No, I saw. The people I met were nice, and they were like, yeah, just jump right into.
Every time I see somebody, I apologize, bro. Let me. Every time somebody like goes for a starter anime and they say, yeah, you should watch Berserk. No, the fuck they shouldn't. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. No.
So it's like one, isn't the anime supposed to be like everyone agrees that it's not great? And then two.
Which one, or in general?
That's fair.
No. Which one? No. So are we talking about Berserk or just
Berserk?
So I'll say this because I've been watching anime for a minute. So I even when Griffith did that shit in the 90s, it was still pretty fucked up, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's really no starter like. Shout out to Sheed, but I'm gonna use Sheed as an example. That motherfucker liked horror. Well, nah, he liked another genre. But anyway, he Sheed, I'm sorry, I love you, bro. Anyway, but he not necessarily. Well, yeah, he leaned towards horror as his starter anime, and he was conscious enough to know what he liked. The reason being, like peeling back the layer of that onion, it traces back to psychology and sociology, like what would somebody do if they were scared. So I think it depends on you. Like prime example for me, I like action. My very first anime that I watched was I don't know if it was the original Ninja Scroll or Street Fighter 2 Victory, but it was action. It was fast paced. It was ching ching or the You feel me? So that's my base, and that's something I related to and I liked. Now, as far as like recommending, I wouldn't know. Like, so if you were like green, right, like new to the anime scene, and you'd be like, hey, like I'm being introduced to the concept of anime. If I'm talking too much, tell me to shut up because it's about you, not me, bro. Good. But if I wouldn't say Berserk because like there's an onion and then there's like a big ass watermelon ass onion because there's so many layers of Berserk that you can dissect. It's not even funny. Yeah. Not gonna get too much into it, but I'm just gonna say even with the whole shit that Griffith did during the eclipse, like it's not justifiable, but like when you analyze it from a psychological level, it's almost like I understand why he did that. Like it's still bad. But anyway, I'm sorry, brother. You were saying I would. At the end of the day, like starter anime, I wouldn't. I just know for me, if somebody say Berserk, I really look like, wait, no, he shouldn't. Like the fuck. But that's just me. Some people, depending on what they've gone through in life, they might be able to. I call it trauma. Take that trauma in the beginning and then move. Cause like I feel like if Berserk, me personally, and then I'm gonna shut up and we just, cause it's about you, bro. Promise you. If I were to recommend a anime, it would be something that's to my core, which is action, noble shit. You feel me? That would be my recommendation because that's my like traits. If somebody recommends Berserk off the muscle, I'm gonna be like, you're sick. But anyway,
I mean the same thing. I usually ask them like what things do you like? Do you like action, adventure, romance? You know, because like if they don't like action but like they like rom-coms, then it's like okay, well there's a whole set of anime for that.
So what do you lean towards then? If you don't
so
mind asking?
I grew up with Legend of Zelda being like one of my favorite games, and I love the idea of like the
fantasy Dungeons and Dragons, basically. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like anything adventure, like I've never been like a super big animation snob. Right, like if it looks great, it looks great. But also if it doesn't look too great, as long as the story, I'm like, okay, like I'll watch it, enjoy it. And, you know, it's good to have some C-tier anime sometimes that you're like, this is fun. I'm having a good time. You know. Mm-hmm. It's like there's a bunch of generic isekai where you're like, wow, this is the same kind of feeling over and over again, but they change one word in the title, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's the same fucking shit. But
yeah. So some of it's fun, some of it's like, wow, this is really just the same thing again.
So what are your favorite animes, and or what's on your list, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, the loaded question for everybody, right? So I'm gonna do like top 3-ish because I can't pick one. Obviously we got Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Don't do that, brother. they did. My boy Dave is so dirty in that. You ever? I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this, then shut the hell up. I'm gonna keep saying that. But that ending made me violently angry.
Yeah, I already knew going into it because I played the game before. It's like with Cyberpunk in general, there's no happy endings. I already knew. Going into the anime, I'm like, oh, this is fun, but I already knew. I'm like, it's gonna hurt.
All that bullshit, and this was the end result. Yeah. But go ahead. So End Runner, got you. That's one.
Edge Runners.
I said End, didn't I? I'm sorry.
This one is one that I don't think I've ever met anybody else that's like actually heard of. It's called Vivi Fluorite's Eye Song.
No, I have not heard of that.
Yeah, it came out between JJK and what other anime released around that time?
You asking the wrong person. I stopped keeping up after the 2000s to an extent, but I'll say if we're saying JJK, maybe like My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I think it was like JJK, My Hero, and Demon Slayer all had seasons like that. Okay. Or all had a new season that season, if that makes sense.
Is that season still ongoing? Maybe it's something I can look into and like do my own research on. Like is it relatively new?
What, Vivi?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vivi was just like 24 episodes and it's done.
Oh, one of those. Okay, yeah.
It was an anime only one. Okay. So there's no like source material they had to adapt. He wrote a light novel as they were developing it, so that way they could have like something to keep track on. But he made it, and then that's the story, and now they're making a manga for it for like sales and stuff.
Gotcha.
My favorite way to describe this is have you seen Terminator?
Which one? But yeah.
Just the plot of Terminator.
Yeah,
right? Like the whole war between, and then they send the dude back in time to like kind of stop this stuff. So now take Terminator, and instead of big old Arnold, make it like Hatsune Miku.
Who?
The blue-haired like idol singer.
Who?
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I would hit. Who?
Okay. So if we're going off of Nier here, we'll get to that in a minute.
Wait. What?
I said if we're going off of Nier here, we'll get to that in a minute. But
Gotcha.
like the androids, right?
Yeah.
So the humans made the androids in Vivi, and then later the androids revolt against them. So the first android that was made was a idol that sings at like a Disneyland. And so the doctor in the future sends a piece of code back to that android through time, and then he basically sends like this little like android helper. That's Hatsune
What game is this from?
It's
you said anime. I'm fucking retarded.
So
it takes a while for that light bulb to go off.
No, you're fine. Hatsune
This does
Miku
look
is just
familiar,
actually an
though.
idol. Like she's just straight up a band kind of thing in Japan.
Can you show me the actual, if you can you show me the actual cover of the, it's fine, sis. It's everything content. Because I feel like I've seen that before.
Yeah, so that's not the show I'm talking about.
I'm retarded. Go ahead.
That's the person I was saying that you'll see when she shows you the cover of the show, they look similar.
Okay, I got you. Oh.
But basically, it's Terminator if Terminator was an android from Disneyland that sings. So the
She's
soundtrack.
still deadly? It sounds like.
Yeah, no. So the soundtrack's fire.
Mm-hmm.
The action goes crazy. The fights they have is crazy.
Got you. Male lead, female. I'm asking.
Female lead.
Got you.
Well, technically both. There's a male and female. They work together through the whole thing.
Got you.
But it goes through 100 years in the story. So that's the actual cover for the show.
And you said this is relatively new?
Yep.
I need to get back on my. Like I said, I'm stubborn. I like the old. I'm stubborn, but it sounds like I need to, especially for future interviews with other cosplayers, because again, it is still becoming relatively popular. Based on this interview, I need to get up to date because everybody's not watching Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, the old school Gundams, and Dragon Ball. So, thank you for that. It sounds like I need to get my knowledge up at least. So I'm very appreciative of that. But please continue, brother. We'll get back on the same page. I promise you.
The reason I like that one is because it goes through in 24 episodes. Goes through 100 years of time that you live with this character basically, and they write it in such a way that by the end of the 100 years, it feels like you have been through like this crazy amount of things. Because the whole ending is like they look back, kind of the nostalgia like at all the stuff they've done, and you're like, wow, we have been through a lot. And it does kind of make me think of other anime, like even Dragon Ball or like One Piece. If you watch all of that, and they did like a little like
One Piece been out since I was 10. God damn. But anyway, yeah.
So it's like if you were to watch all of One Piece, and then you look back and just like let's say somebody did like a little summary of all the arcs, and you look back, you're like, wow, I've been through a lot with these characters, kind of feeling. So that's what I really like about that show is it's got the action, it's got the music, because music's a very big thing for me. It's part of why I don't read a lot of manga. Like when a show they give you that second season and they're like, yeah, we're done, and I'm like, well, you just can't. And people are just go read the manga. I'm like, well, I don't want to read the manga. I want the music.
You like to flow in general, like in life, when it comes, like you hear certain beats or certain tones or certain
No,
sounds.
like I always got music in. Like this probably
helps you escape.
Yeah, no, I was explaining it to her because she asked. Like my brain's like always multitasking like 5 things at once.
Going a million miles a minute.
Yeah. So the music kind of helps like set a pace for that.
Slow you down.
Yeah.
Got you.
So that way I'm not like sitting in the chair, you know.
I'm gonna give you as long as you have your music, then you ain't got to worry too much about your fitness journey.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you that tidbit on there. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
And then let's see. So I got that one. 86. It's another newish one.
Well, somebody got 86. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, that is what they did the title off of. Yeah, that's kind of what it's supposed to be. So
Keep going.
They did the because they don't use the term 86 in Japan. But yeah, if you've ever done like restaurant stuff, like
What do they use? Have you ever been
what
to Japan?
Not yet.
Fuck. When you trying to go? That's enough.
Yeah, sometime. Whenever I find the funds and time to go.
I'm
Sometime next year is the goal.
I'll let y'all in on a little secret. So I have to get to Japan. Not need to. I have to for like a life reason. But I'm gonna go. I'll tell you this right now, and you probably already know this. Just forgive me for separating the interview, but it is cheaper to go to Japan in the months of August to November. For some odd reason, for one person, but that single ticket goes from $1,400 to like damn near $3,000 between the months of December and March. I don't know if I told you anything that you already knew, but I've noticed for some odd reason
We did look it up. I imagine it's something to do with like the weather and like festival seasons and stuff like that. Like kind of what they got going on.
I hope that you enjoy your experience. Like, I'm going for a different reason, but I need to get to Okinawa. But anyway, you were saying they don't use the term 86th in Japan. So,
yeah, but I know that because somebody's like, oh, I wonder why they use 86. The author is because in the show it is a lot of 86ing that happens. So
he's gonna go sleep with the fishes.
But yes, that's another interesting one that looks at a lot of not easy to digest topics, as it were.
So, but is that in the realm of adventure, like your core, or is that just your interest as far as your top 3, like your list?
I guess it's kind of an adventure that they go on, but it doesn't really fit into. It'd probably be like action adventure for like the tags, but there's not a lot of hand-to-hand combat or a lot of like intense, crazy stuff. So, quick summary: they drive these like spider tanks, right? So these like 4-legged like tanks that walk around. There's like 3 kingdoms. One of the kingdoms made an AI army that turned on them and destroyed their kingdom, and then multiplied and started destroying the other kingdoms. So now the other kingdoms are all separated from each other.
Giving off betrayal vibes there, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they're trying to fight off these AI that they assume will die off in like 3 years. So they just got to hold out for 3 years, and then they'll all like turn off and they'll be good. In one of the kingdoms, it's very on the nose about it. It's not like they don't hide the theme at all. It's very like you look at the show and you're like, oh, everybody's got white hair and blue eyes. Yeah. Anybody that didn't have that, they sent outside the kingdom's walls to pilot these tanks to go fight the AI.
Hit it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
But then
they get their get back at the end, don't they? I'm kidding.
They do.
That's good.
Inside the walls, they tell everybody that the tanks that they're sending out are also AI. So that there's no casualties in this war because they're fighting AI with AI. But all the military officers know that they sit down and are sending people into battle. But all the other officers treat them like they are disposable, except for one of the main characters who you follow who treats them like people, but realizes that from her chair in the office, she still isn't like fully able to treat them like people because she's just in a chair.
Because of the seat that she sits in. So she still has the...
So she
conduct herself business-wise.
Yeah. So
business with heart, if that makes... Yeah, I get it.
She starts going and like making strides to actually do what she's trying to do and treat them like people. And so she'll start like breaking rules and like she wanted mortars to help them out, but her commanding officer is like, nah, there's no point. Like they literally call them pigs. So yeah, he'll be like, they're just pigs. They don't need it. And so she was like, okay, cool. And she just broke the rules, took them, used them, and like that saved like half of her squad.
Face any backlash, I'd imagine, in that scene.
So they link in through like a little like neck collar thing that links all of their ears together, so they can
Ghost in the Shell vibes.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So they can link, so she can talk to them remotely over like great distances. But the only reason they only link like voice is because if you link anything else, it'll destroy that. Gotcha. So she ends up to get the trajectory of the mortars right. She forcibly links to one of the guy's eyes, so she can see what he sees, but she only links it to one of her eyes, and then she uses that for the mortars, which basically means that one of her eyes is going to go blind.
Attention span of a squirrel. Text me that title, and I'll definitely do some research.
It's very much like it deals with some crazy.
It does sound interesting,
and there's different things where it's like similar in the whole like, what's the point of, okay, well you look like this, what does it matter? Kind of all that stuff. So and like you said, they do get their
get back.
Oh yeah,
definitely send me that title.
It's very satisfying because they eye roll in and then they're all like, oh no, and of course our the main girl who's now like blind in one eye is like, all right, I've had enough of you guys, and so she just straight up just takes control. She's like, I'm general now. It just like I'm the
captain now.
Yeah, she does that. She just rolls in. She's like, you guys suck, but I'm still gonna save as many of you anyway. And then so it's very interesting.
You gave me some homework. And
there's lots of homework. Like, I know you said you like the classics, but there is so much that's come out every season now that like
with anime or just with that
with anime. Like every season there's like something where you're like, wow, this is.
So if I may, and others like me who like the old school, I think I think it traces back to generation. I haven't, outside of maybe Baki and Kangen Asura, found anything remotely close that would give me that nostalgic spirit. Sorry, that nostalgic feeling like Street Fighter would. There are plenty. Who was it? What came at a really close second for me, to my core, right, was Kenshi the Greatest Disciple. It was on Netflix at one point in time.
Okay.
A goofball that became a badass, but still maintained his goofballness, if that makes sense. So that's me. I'm a big ass goofball.
I got two for you then.
What's up?
Megalobox.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
I've seen that. Yes.
You've seen that? Okay. I was like,
I haven't
seen that.
I haven't seen the. Apparently, there was a new one that was
like
introduced in
season 2?
2022 or 23. There was another one because I think that one was only 12 episodes, right?
Yeah. There's 2 seasons.
Yeah, I know, but I think the other season didn't. It recently just came out. Like fairly, I haven't seen it, but
Maybe like 2-3 years
ago.
I don't know. Time's all warped for me because it feels like, I'll look at something on Facebook 4 years ago today. I'm like, huh?
But yeah, I have seen Megaloboxing. That one, that good anime. The other
very like a Punch Out kind of.
It did, but it's just it. I'm gonna make it make sense, but like there's like no. The one thing I've noticed, which kind of does make sense, have you noticed how in anime there's really no fine line between good and evil anymore? Like I've noticed in anime and in Hollywood, like there is a justifiable bad guy. Like, okay, all jokes aside, like have you seen the Joker movie, right?
Nope.
You haven't? Okay, say less. I'll put it to you like this, and hopefully I don't spoil it for you if you ever want to watch. Like some of the shit he went through from a psychological aspect, you definitely would go, I probably would have done the same fucking thing. Same thing with anime. That's where I noticed that the direction was going like into, and I think I kind of broke away from that because anime for me was, and this was before, like I'm a gamer and in anime before I became a musclehead. That's my inner child. But
so you're talking about like anime that have like this is the bad guy.
Yeah, like, and he's just doing it just because like this man's family wasn't massacred or he had to watch his wife die or seen his baby charred or some shit like that. Kind of like that motherfucker. I would shit. You feel me? Like back then, like from what I've noticed in general, like everybody there's a reason for why people are in. I don't like that because it's reminding us already of our day-to-day problems. Back then, you just a motherfucker. I'm doing it because it makes me feel good and I like it. Oh, no, he was traumatized as a kid. Nah, fuck that. But anyway, that's just me. I think. Let me see. So 2024. I think between Naruto Shippuden, when it finally ended, and Bleach when it got canceled, even though it got revamped. There was another anime, another big anime, because One Piece has still been around for forever. But I think, honestly, and I know that's like almost 12 years. I still watch other anime. I don't keep up with the lore or the story like I would, like again, with Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Rurouni Kenshin. I don't keep up with the lore like I should, but with the other new animes, but it's just like they don't give me that sense of nostalgia. If anything, a lot of things feel rushed. Because even back then, and I get it, a lot of animes can't do past 24 episodes. Like one of the greatest samurai animes out there to me is Samurai Champloo. But if you really peel back the layers of that, like damn, that was only 24 episodes. But in the era I grew up in, you would think there was 100. It's just how they aired it back then and what was available at the time. What's another one? Dude rolling around on the roller skates and he's just doing these mass murders, but for some odd reason he's not doing it if you're emotionally coy or some shit like that. That was another good one. You ever heard of Wolf's Rain?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
So for me, I love anime, but like to me, that's what I'm about to do it right now. Like everybody I've cosplayed, I will always ask them just to see what do you feel like was the best era of anime? The 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, or the current? Like, what do you think the best? What do you think the best?
So that's kind of what I was already kind of answering, was that I don't think that like everyone's gonna have their golden age depending on your nostalgia, kind of. But like I said, like the classics are the classics. They're the classics for a reason. They're just like they're there, they're good. Like everybody should go at least watch some of them. You know, you don't have to watch all the classics because no one's got enough time anymore. But like,
yeah, that's another.
Like, I'm not saying like you got to go watch One Piece. Or you're not an anime fan.
Yeah, you don't, because that you gonna be there till you damn near 60.
but like if there's one of them that like kind of catch your interest, like it's good to be like, oh, this is kind of like where it started. Like she's got Sailor Moon. Some of them got Dragon Ball. Like I have a bunch of One Piece friends that like they watch the whole thing and they're like waiting for the new stuff. I've seen some of them. None of them genuinely like caught my attention enough to be like a Dragon Ball stan, or like Naruto's like, he's cool, but like part of it, like you said, is just time. Saying like, I don't always have enough time to be like, yeah, let's go watch all of Naruto, and I'm like, when? Why? And then I look at like I said, like every season there's like a new show that comes out where everybody's like, this show's amazing, and I'm like, okay, but like the last 5 seasons had amazing shows. Give me a break. Hold on, I can't catch up.
No, understandable.
But no, I do like that. There's always something to look forward to. Like there's a ton of anime, like 86 and Vivi.
86. No, yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, no, Vivi I was looking forward to because of the author and the artist. So 86, I just clicked on. I had no idea what it's about. I was just like, oh, neat, click, and just. I watched it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And there's plenty of other anime that came out like 5, 6, 7 years ago that I was just like, interesting. I clicked it and I was like, wow, that was a great 12 episodes. Like there's so many that don't get hyped up anymore, or like they're like a solid B tier, but like they came out a while ago. So like some people know about it, but like you're not gonna see anybody really cosplaying it or anything. But like there's somewhere I'll click on it and I'm like, that was great, wow. And then some shows I've seen are better if I watch it all at once. Like it's already out, all 12 are out, and I just sit there and I just go and watch it all. I'm like, that was great. And then some of them, like I'll watch it week to week as it's airing, and I'll be like, man, this sucks. But then like somebody who watched it all at once is like, oh, this was great. And so sometimes I think the pacing, like you said, like Samurai Champloo, you said like because of watching it on TV, like it felt like you're watching it for years, but it was really short. So I think sometimes that can affect how you perceive an anime, or like
and that's. I'm open to criticism. But that's probably not healthy as far as like the anime community, right? Because then I'm not allowing growth for the other new ones that are coming out.
Yeah, I mean,
be honest. This your interview, brother.
It is all like personalized to each of us. Like how much time you got, what you're into, does it look interesting to you? There's so many other things competing for your time right now that I don't think it's that you're like being like, oh no, this new anime sucks, but like. I'm sure if you had nothing to do but just watch anime all day.
Oh, you damn right I would.
Then you'd be like,
that and
Lyft.
Like,
yeah, just Lyft and watch anime. You'd be like, oh, well, like what's that new thing? Or you'd find something that catches your interest. But when you're forced to like delegate out your time, you're like, okay, this is what I like. Like we're keeping it right here, And that's completely fair. Like everybody's got to do that with something. Like I haven't really seen anything DC.
Anything like DC?
Superman, Batman.
That's decent.
No, DC, like Marvel and DC. Like I haven't seen anything DC.
Oh, and okay, say
yeah,
light bulb. Got you.
And like Marvel, I haven't seen.
You know what? I'm asking. It's not for you.
It's not that I don't like it. It's that just like I said, like I have the anime I'm watching, the games I'm playing, my job and gym, and then so like I don't have any more pie slice to fit in like superheroes.
Time.
Yeah.
24 hours ain't enough, isn't?
Yep.
So allow me to ask you this, and then we just touched on the anime. We still got to go on the cosplay, and I'm gonna fit that shit, and I promise you. But gaming, you may be able to give me some knowledge. Like I know, but they don't know, the audience. But have you played any of the Nier series?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So which? I apologize, brother. The Nier, all of it, mainly the original Nier is close to my heart. But like, so like, what got you into it? Like, which one did you play first? Did you play the Nier A, or did you play the original Nier?
So real quick, they actually asked the creator about that, if it's Automata or Automata, and he said it doesn't matter, just do the same thing. Got you. Because a lot of people do get caught up in like you're pronouncing it wrong. And then you
just want to squint your eyes like, did you know what the fuck I meant? But yeah, I'm saying
exactly. It's like, did it make sense? But yeah, the creator said it doesn't matter. So Automata doesn't matter. But that is the one I started with. That is one that I kind of just like, I saw some gameplay for it, and I was like, oh, it's like a third-person hack and slash. It's kind of fun.
So 9S was your favorite character, huh?
9S I actually didn't do the hacking for. I built him to just throw spears. I just put a bunch of... You missed
out. That hacking came in the hella clutch. I'm just saying, I
used it once or twice, but I had got a couple plug-in chips on the first playthrough. Then when I put it on him,
he was a beast anyway when he fought.
I would sit there and I would just like 5-tap mini bosses, just like.
Nah, the hacking. And here's what I had noticed. Did you ever notice, like, playing the game? To me, it seemed like you got more XP hacking. So you get XP from hacking, then you get a double dip when you killed the enemy. That's why I also loved hacking.
I didn't notice because I'm one of those people that kind of min-maxes in games. So like as soon as like the enemies were getting like kind of ridiculous, I was like, okay. And I just went and killed enemies for like an hour, just like fighting enemies, and then came back in. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're not so strong now.
Who's the true ending? Whose ending did you choose?
Whose ending did I choose?
Between A2s and 9Ss.
So it's kind of cloudy. So I don't have the greatest like memory for certain things I find. So I can't remember.
Okay, yeah.
I remember like all of it happening, and I went back and you do the other endings, so you get both, so you can get E and all that stuff. So it's like I remember doing it all. I just don't remember which one I picked first.
Okay, so I'll say this. All of it was fucking depressing.
Oh yeah.
But I chose A2s, and then I went back and watched 9Ss, and I said, yo! I think at least end with A2s. Good Buddy still lived, but that one, like, there was no. But anyway, the reason why I kind of touch on it, I'm surprised that's a franchise that's not doing well. Like, so that anime is owned by Square Enix, right? Mm-hmm. And like Square Enix, there used to be SquareSoft, the original Final Fantasies and all that other stuff. Like, I'm surprised that franchise is not taking off. Like, I'm gonna say these titles right, like the Final Fantasy franchise, the Dragon Quest franchise, the Visions Trials of Mana franchise, and the original Nier. Have you played that one?
Yeah, you talking about Gestalt?
Yeah.
I didn't play Gestalt. I played Replicant.
Got you.
So like I got the story from it, just not.
I'm surprised with how good it is and the fan base that Nier has. Like I could be speaking out of ignorance, but I feel like you'll see people cosplay Nier than you would, again, Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, or Tales or Vision of Mana, which is kind of like, I'm surprised that there's only, now I do know there's a comic book and I do know there's a book, but I'm surprised there's not, I think in total there's like 4 games within 13 years, because the original Nier came out in 2007 on the PS3.
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, I'm really surprised we only have, 2 games and 2 remakes, but I'm really surprised we only have 4 games. I'm saying this, I really feel, I wish, because of what that game has done for me and how I respect the concept of that storyline, to me, I really wish that they made more. But so here's a question on that game: do you feel like it's kind of hard to because the concept of the game, which really realistically is genocide, if we're keeping it in the band, do you feel like maybe it's hard to do a continuation on the story like that? Because at the end of the day, if the concept is genocide, like how many times can you talk about genocide in the game? Like each, and I'm gonna make it make sense. Like again, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Tales, like they all have their own. It's the concept is the fight against evil, cool, but they all of it has their own different story. Like one's a knight, one's a dragon maid, one's damn near a god. So I kind of get it for those titles. But do you think for Nier the reason why it's hard for that brand to like branch off is because at the end of the day the genre of it is still the same? Like there's no changing that?
So I think that's just down to the creator.
Okay.
If you haven't seen anything about him outside of like the game, he's crazy.
Okay.
In a good way.
Okay.
I have my phone. Pull up a picture of him at like a press conference real quick, just so you can understand.
I hope he has like really, really crazy ass hair and I can laugh and be like, oh shit.
So his answers at conventions when people like ask him, why did you do this for the game, or why did you do that? This is what he looks like at every like event that he goes to. Yeah. He wears the Emil head everywhere. Mm-hmm. So like he literally just, every picture is just him. Like somebody asked him like, are you gonna make another Nier game? And he just waiting if they give me the money for it. he's like it's capitalism. Like he's like, if they pay me to make a game, I'll make a game.
Okay. So he might. So it sounds like he does have. So fun.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're planning something and they just haven't released it yet.
Okay. But because like I said, they've released a book and comic books, even an anime, right?
So okay.
Yeah.
Every like bit of Nier is canon lore. So like the Final Fantasy collab is canon.
Okay.
Everything that's like made, he makes everybody have him sign off on it, so he can make sure it makes sense into his lore.
Okay.
And I'm talking like, remember when we had game guides, like those paper game guides?
Not really, brother.
Really? You don't?
No, I don't.
Like that was like peak PS3 era. Every game had like this paperback game guide that you could flip.
Oh, you mean like Game Informer? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm so you said guide. I'm retarded as fuck.
Yeah, like the Prima game guides and stuff like that.
Wait, the guide or
not,
like
not the magazine, the guides.
Oh yeah. Light bulb. Yeah, I do. Yes, yeah.
So in the Nier Automata one, in the sides of the pages, there was just more story to the game.
Okay.
So if you didn't read that story, you don't have like
you don't know. Okay.
So you got that. You got the anime. You have audio dramas that are only in Japanese. You got stage plays. When they did the concert, all the voice actors walk on stage after the concert, and they read the true ending of Automata. So like ending E isn't the actual ending.
Got you.
The actual ending
because that shit was depressing.
So it gets worse. So sorry to.
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, it gets way worse.
Griffith level worse? I'm sorry, I'm so kidding. Yeah.
It's so much.
I got it. So it's something that.
So they do that.
Another thing I need to do homework on apparently.
You're just gonna have to find a video that's like, here's the timeline, and somebody like takes all those little extra things and just puts them in one YouTube video, because otherwise, like, you're gonna have to translate a Japanese audio drama and figure out what they're talking about. Like,
I had streamed it. The Atama, I'm gonna do the replicant when I get more. Everything for me is equipment, like whether it's interviewing or my gaming or even in my lifting. But when I was streaming the Atama, I pray I said that right. But when I was streaming it, like somebody, like I didn't know that they actually had a book about it.
Yeah. So there's so much just.
Somebody watching me play that game told me, and I said that's something I got to look into. You cosplay as 9S. I'm asking just in format, but you've cosplay as a Nier character, right?
So I had my like casual 9S fit, right? Like I had the wig, the blindfold, but I had like a black button up with like a white floral shirt and like
DLC costume. You could have worn.
Yeah, DLC costume. You know. So I did that. That was probably actually like the first. I've done like not full cosplays before that, but that was probably the first one where I was like, I'm just gonna do a closet cosplay and go to a con.
So I'm a bring it back, but bring it back to this.
Trying to help you loop back.
So when you first cosplayed, all right. So how long have you been cosplaying?
Going to cons regularly and cosplaying probably like 3 years since I came back to this North Carolina.
So what was the motivating factor for you to go? All right, and what was your who was the character that you cosplayed as, if you don't mind me asking?
So I had the 3D printers and it was doing
came in clutch, didn't they?
And I was like, oh, this is fun. And then like I had a couple coworkers go, oh, can you make me like I think the first commission I had was Ichigo's mask, like the So that was like the first commission I made. And then I was like, oh yeah, like I make costume stuffs, and like I always like the different swords and art in game and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to like start making myself swords and stuff like that. And so I did one of the swords from Destiny that I made, and then I'm trying to remember what the next one was after that. I don't know. I've made a lot of different swords at this point now. I have a picture of them that they're all like laid out after Dragon Con, where I think at Dragon Con we used like most of my props that we've made.
I'm not gonna hold you. I feel moving forward, regardless if it's in cost, you're gonna be good. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. And let me know when you open up your own shop. I'll be your first customer. But yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, continue.
You're fine. I think 9S was like the first casual one, because I made the sword that A2 uses.
Yes,
the small one, not the big
it looks like a berserker sword to an extent. It has a little. Yes, I know.
Yeah. The single-handed one.
Got you.
I think it's a Type 4.0 blade, and then
because the other one, the other longsword, her longsword looks like a Banshio blade, if that makes sense, like a square. Like a block. Yeah.
So that one's my next project. After I do a couple other things for people, I got special plastic that as you print it, depending how hot you print it, it foams as it comes out. So it's the same strength as the regular stuff, but it's half the weight. Because when I make big swords, the problem is when you lift it up, it just snaps.
So that's probably.
So
well, I'll say this: they're like on the History Channel or whatever, but it's guys who make like video game or cosplay swords. Like there's a lot of, I don't know how it would work on a 3D printer, but like them using actual metal to make that. Certain materials, because of how big and how dense or how wide shape, the measure, all that shit comes into play. Yes, I think other people, when they would try to create it out of foam, it would break like easily. And that, at the end of the day, that's too much time and money going into something that's ultimately going to break. But I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there is plastic that has metal in it now. So when you like I want to reprint these out of it, and what you can do is you can actually they'll rust naturally. So instead of having to like paint rust, they will just actually rust. Or like the stainless steel one, you can polish to like different things. The copper one will actually conduct to electricity, like different things like that. So there's a whole crazy plastics that I'm going to get into later. Like I want to do like Breath of the Wild Link, the Knight's armor. I want to print with the iron filament, so the Knight's armor will rust, so it can look like the Breath of the Wild, like, you know, kind of messed up. Without me having to sit there and paint, you know, intricate, a little bit of brown here, a little, yeah.
You're going places with this. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Yeah, give it a while, but if you commit to this, I see it. But so stepping into cosplay, like, so how did it feel like just cosplaying as a character that you relate to, or like were you nervous? Did you feel out of place? Did you feel like you fit in? I'm curious.
So I'm not very like outwardly super expressive.
Yeah.
But
me either,
we pointed out that she can be a little more expressive, but she's introverted. It's like the whole stage fright thing, and then
I know when I first met her, I was scared as fuck of her. I ain't gonna hold you. She gonna put me in a chokehold when them cameras go. Look, the fuck you mean you was scared? No, I'm kidding. See, she gave me that assassin squint right there too. I'm like, oh my god, I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So like I am extroverted in that like I can deal with people and talk to people and like figure out how people do things and be like, oh yeah, cool, you know, like networking for business. I'm like, I'll just walk right up and be like, hey, how's it going? Like when we went to Dragon Con, we were in line for the costume contest. There's all these other people making crazy things, and the judges were two of the characters that she liked, and they had props and everything. So and she was like, oh, like I wonder how. I just walked up and like, hey, like how'd you make that? And he was talking to me how, because he also 3D prints, I found out, and like the piece that he made, like you couldn't even tell it was 3D printed. It looked like it just looked like glass. Like he had printed it and glossed it and everything. It turns out that his parents run an auto shop, so he grew up in an auto body like painting shop. So he knows like how to paint like perfectly.
And no, continue, brother. Mine going. That's good. That's good. But it's just like I like hearing shit like that, like a life skill being used towards a hobby, if that makes sense.
No, my first job was at Custom Cake Bakery, and my boss was a lady from Sweden who met her husband. He was in the army, so he was over there.
Thank you for your service.
She is an architectural engineer for her degree.
Okay.
And she makes cakes. None of our cakes ever fell over.
No, it's not bad. It's just
yeah. So like you said, just skills that like you don't necessarily think of like transferring over to different things. Where you're like, yeah, you know, when you phrase it like that, it makes sense.
Okay.
Like yeah, of course, if you grew up in an auto body paint shop, like your painting skills are probably going to be amazing. So it's just I like getting to talk to people and be like, how'd you do that?
Gotcha.
Like the guy who did the Berserk armor, he's 3D printed all the scales for the Berserker armor. He had the helmet, the lights in it, everything.
No deficiencies. Well, not that it matters, but like no, yeah.
I mean, like if you got up close, you could be like, oh yeah, this is like some stuff that's not quite right here.
But from afar, he looks like
on stage.
Yeah,
it's like Guts just walked up on stage, and there he is, and he had the sword and everything too. So I asked him how he made the sword because, like I said, it's hard to get them to not like bend or under their own weight. So what he did is, you know, those like pool skimmers, those aluminum like rods.
Yeah, I got you.
He took one of those and he wrapped it, and then he put the foam blade over it, so that way it gave it the strength.
And it didn't break.
Yeah.
Wasn't heavy to carry.
Nope.
Allow me to ask this before I forget. Attention span of a squirrel. You ever heard of Guyver? The Guyver series.
Sounds.
Buy a boosted armor. Alien.
Oh yeah. No, so one of the Muscle Nerds guys was.
Yeah. How much would you charge me to make me a suit like that? I know I'm tall and everything. Fuck. All right, never mind. I would be like, yeah, if y'all want to see me in cosplay, because I was like, that would definitely be. But y'all would just see the suit, not me. So it'd be anyway. Yeah.
That's actually a good question for anybody that's going to see this and then be like, oh, like how does he do this stuff? There's two ways to do it. You can base it off of material cost and then charge a percent.
I already know like at least 5 stacks, so I'm tracking. I'm trusting.
Or you can base it off of time that it takes. But either way, I get the file because I'm learning to make like custom files, like design stuff. I'm still learning that, so I have to go with what exists already. So if we can find a file, you put it in the printer software. I put in the settings for the printer. It'll tell me, hey, this is how long it's going to take. This is how much material it's going to take, and then I use that to give somebody a price. So that's just kind of to answer that question for anybody. That's how that usually goes for most of us. Is we can estimate by looking at it, but like it's
check your DMs in a couple of months when I be like, like, hey, so this blueprint. Anyway, I apologize, brother. For the sake of time, I'm gonna condense it down, but still stay on the right track. I got off on a tangent.
I know we were going to with Nier and stuff. It's all right.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm so sorry. So in the realm of cosplay, I'm gonna switch it. We're gonna talk about cosplay first and anime. So with the experience that you've had, the people that you've met, the places that you've went to, what are some things you like about cosplaying and what are some things you dislike about it? So
I like to get to meet people who are doing things and making things and talk to them like, how did you do it? You know, just kind of like getting to share like the craft, you know, just getting to do something, dress up as something that you feel cool in, and meet other people doing the same thing and going, oh, like, yo, how'd you make that? You know, oh, what character are you? Even if I don't know it, I'm like, that's cool. How did you do that? What's it about? Like, you know, just getting to nerd out about stuff for like a whole weekend. And I like getting to walk into somewhere and you just see this sea of people that are all different crazy things walking around.
And it seems like it's put together really, really well. Huh?
Yeah, it's just fun being like, oh, wow, like, look at that guy. Or like, we'll walk around and be like, oh, like when we find Chris and Tristan, we'll be like, oh, I see the hair out there. Like, you know, you can just see his little Goku hair sticking up and like, oh, there they are.
I know who that is.
Yeah, no.
Is he on the stool? I'm kidding. Oh my God, he going anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as things I don't like, are we talking about just like cosplaying or the community?
What is within the realm of cosplay, whether it be cosplayers or the community, what do you personally dislike about it?
So, it is probably that some people can't make it a competition. Even if you're in an actual competition, I don't think I've been in a competition where people are like, yeah, your stuff sucks.
Okay.
Like, so objectively, I could look at something and be like, that's not good, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to go to that person and be like, your stuff's trash. Yeah. Like, especially if we're all in the novice category. We're in the novice category for a reason. We're learning, you know. It's
I'm not violent, but I probably headbutt you if you're close enough to me.
So it's like, there's nothing constructive that you can do from looking at somebody's cosplay and being like, that's trash. Mm-hmm. Where instead, like, I could ask them, like, oh, hey, I see you did a thing here. Like, how did you do that? Mm. And then, like, if they ask me, oh, how, like, I have a lot of people go, like, oh, like, how did you paint it or how did you sand it? How did you get it so smooth? And then you can pass that knowledge. And maybe you see them next year and they're, like, twice as good. Like, their cosplay is, like, now just crazy good, you know? And then you don't know how much money they're working with or how much time. They're like, maybe this was just, like, the month before the con. And they're like, I want to throw something together real quick. And, you know, everyone's just there to wear that thing and have fun and be like, ooh, I get to be this character. So it's just never cool when somebody puts somebody else down for wearing a character, whether it's like they're wearing the same character as somebody or maybe their cosplay is just something they bought and they didn't make any of it. But like, we're all just there to have a day. You know?
It's a form of bullying.
Yeah, we're all just there to have a good time.
This question, as I hear you speak, so do you think that could probably discourage somebody from cosplaying?
Oh, for sure. I meet people like at the rock climbing gym that they'll see like, because this is what I wear to the gym. Like this jacket it's my bike jacket, but it's also my cyberpunk cosplay jacket. Like I just wear it. Also, I forgot I can do the little. There we go.
Just turn the light on. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
It's not cyberpunk if you don't have the neon lights, you know.
Yeah.
But like I ran into somebody yesterday at the gym. Was it yesterday or was it the day before? Anyway, he had a one-piece chalk bag, and I was like, "Oh, that's a nice chalk bag." And he goes, "Oh, thank you." And then we just started talking about anime and stuff as we were rock climbing. And I'd never met this guy in my life before.
But it was a like trait or a same likeness that y'all had.
And so he mentioned that he wanted to try cosplaying. He's like, maybe I'll do like I think he said one of the JJK characters like making me. He was like, yeah, like maybe I'll try to do him, but like I don't really want to do the wig, like. But my hair is like kind of like his. I'm like, I'll tell you right now, no one cares. Like, do your natural hair with the outfit, and then people will be like, oh hey.
Well, not being negative.
So you're good.
So yes, no one cares, but they care enough to tell you that you suck.
So that's it's the few that ruin it for the many.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So for every person that'll say something negative about a cosplay, the 10 people around them will then go, hey, that's not cool. So that is the nice thing is that like for everybody that, like, there's been plenty of experiences I've had at a convention where somebody does something not cool, and complete strangers that have never met you will literally turn around and be like, hey, like, don't do that.
Shut the fuck up type shit?
Yeah, like we were going to a photo shoot and we had two guys that were like, we had our Demon Slayer outfits on, so like we had our katanas on. And they're like, oh, hey, you know the katanas are supposed to be flipped upside down.
You don't shut your goofy ass up. I really think,
Like I rolled out of bed into this cosplay to go to the photo shoot, so I just ignored. I was like, okay, whatever, you know.
I think it's a good thing that I just don't. I really would.
But yeah, or like even like on some less fun topics. So I used to work in a maid cafe at Animazement, and so a lot of the people would get creeped on there.
That's a high.
Yeah. Anyway, we had one of the girls was out like doing some of the after dark panels and stuff, and this guy started creeping on her, and so she texted us with her phone saying like, "Hey, this dude's being creepy to me."
Grab the mace or your pistol. Oh my god.
And some completely random guy that none of us knew saw like the body language of her, and he walked up and he's like, "Oh, hey, you know, let's go meet up with our friends, you know." And like just kind of like acted like he knew her and was like, "Oh yeah, you ready to go like to that panel or whatever?" And then just like they walked off around the corner, and then he's like, "Are you good? Like, you got friends on the way?" And she was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Cool. Like, I don't want to be that creepy guy too. So like, I'm also gonna leave now, but like, I'm glad you're good now." So like I said, for every person that does some weird stuff or something not cool or some bullying, there's like 10 more people that are ready to be like, "Hey."
So take away that again. This question just came up, but do you think maybe even if it's not bullying, some people just can't pick up on social cues, like not read the.
Some people just can't.
Okay, because I say this tidbit and keep it moving. So I have seen some things, maybe not on a creep level, but it's kind of like, dude, like, or sis, what, like you're pissing this person off. Like
there was.
I really think like they about to throw hands with you. You feel me? So it's kind of like, shut up. Yeah.
There was a recent incident that actually happened with somebody like that where they didn't understand social cues, and I believe that they are indeed on the spectrum, and they put their hands on somebody after being told not to,
like chill,
and then they kind of got laid out. So it does happen.
Okay, there is no kinda when you lay out something. Either they did. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Dragon Con.
No.
Oh, say less.
Galaxy.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
So the only reason I felt the need to ask that is I know content is content though, so I appreciate your time and I know this was last minute, but
you don't have to apologize for that. We're having a great time. Like I said, I love networking and doing this.
So
stuff.
you are having fun.
Oh yeah, we're having a blast. Like I said, I'm not always outwardly super expressive, but like if you talk, I'll just sit there and be like.
But you're comfortable and everything.
Yeah. No, we're having a great time.
I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Forgot what I was talking about. No, not really, but I've talked to a couple of people, and maybe it's because they were raised. I don't know. I know how to read the room, especially within the profession that I'm in. It's kind of like, yeah, you might want to shut up. Anyway, but it's what I've noticed about cosplay. Like some people, and it's not even reading social cues. It's kind of like, for me, energy does not lie. Your face may have a smile, but I'm gonna know if you're uncomfortable. Yeah. Like that whole I need an adult vibe. Like I'm gonna know, and then but it's just I don't. And I'm not saying it's just in cosplay. Like I feel like that's a life skill. But yeah. What I don't understand is how other people cannot see that. Maybe they're refusing to, but it's kind of like certain people, and I met other people like me, if that makes sense. They have either social anxiety or they're legitimately scared of others, or they're quiet for a reason, you know. And it's kind of like they could be around somebody their energy could just be charismatic, but like how on 10 that they are, they don't recognize like you making good buddy or good sister comfortable, dude. Like you at like 100 and this person's at a 2.
We did have a one of our managers at the cafe before had. So it was separated into like the guys and the girls, like maids and butlers. So there'd be like a session where it's all butlers. And a lot of people that watch certain shows will very much like the yaoi, like boys love stuff, right? And so
ain't nothing wrong with that, but I think I know where you're going with it. Yeah.
But without asking, the manager would do stuff like pin you against the wall and like do stuff like that because it was for the show, even though like he was told that this is a PG-13 cafe experience. It's supposed to be like cutesy and cool, not, you know.
He'd pin you against the wall.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think I'd be working there anymore.
Yeah. There's like everybody had different experiences.
RJ, why'd you get
really
fired? I don't know. I rock Good Buddy's jaw. But anyway,
like you said, like reading the room. So he went to do it to one of the other managers, and like he instantly pushed him away, and like had the body language of like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
And everybody in the room at their tables that paid for this event saw that energy. And I'm like, bro, how are you?
Well, so here's the thing.
How are you so unaware?
When we have a roundtable talk, we're going to readdress this. But so in you're giving us, anybody I've talked to, you're giving us life experiences and life lessons. Learn how to read the room, y'all. It doesn't got to be in cosplay. But I where was I at? Likes and dislikes. What are some things you would like to see change within the anime community?
So some of our friends will come from out of North Carolina, like the Virginia conventions and stuff like that. And they'll come over here to like Galaxy or things like that. And we didn't think about it, but what they've told us is that it's not like this other places. That supposedly, from what they've noticed versus like Virginia cons and like the North Carolina like local cons, that it's a decent bit more toxic here. That we have more issues with bullying, or we have more issues with people not reading the room, or not respecting
North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like GalaxyCon, Animazement, Ichi, Triad, like these local kind of city cons. And
I can say this because I'm from Fayetteville. I'm just disgusted with the cons at Fayetteville.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I don't be giving a damn. Like shit, I did. Try me, please, passive or not. But there's. I'm not speaking for everybody, because you got, prime example, you got people like Ram, you got people like Tristan, you got people like Sheed, and allow me just to go off because it does it triggers me, but I remember I was having a conversation about Ram, and I told him don't fucking ever come to Fayetteville. But no, the only reason, his energy is so good and charismatic and positive. So like when I came down, when I interviewed Cam, you know who Cam is?
Yeah.
So when I interviewed Cam, right, we all went to the gym. That's in my realm. So we all broke bread. We lifted, then we came here. The amount of people that approach Ram, and I don't even think it was on some cosplay shit. He's known in the fitness community, and it wasn't on no hating ass shit.
I went to Food Line with him, and somebody was like, "Oh hey, how's it going, Pharaoh?" And I was like, "Oh."
So he's to me. I could be riding his TIP. I'm that friend. I go like that stuff. But he's that positive outlook in the fitness and cosplay community. That's how I see it. That energy would go away if he ever came to Fayetteville. No,
I know what you mean. I laugh, but I know what you mean.
So I can say it, I don't give a damn, but in my humble opinion, between definitely Fayetteville at the top, Greensboro a little bit, and there's one other city. It's
Winston?
I wouldn't say Winston, but Winston does got his bad perks too. But like those like three bad apples kind of make North Carolina. Anyway, but based on what you just said, I believe the reason why is because certain social norms and mannerisms that conflict, like cause how people are in VA or even in Georgia or even in Florida or wherever. It's kind of like North Carolina, even though we're in the South and it's supposed to be quiet, it's like a conflicting state. Like that's just me. But to see that change that I think that you were going towards, for some, and I'm not trying to sound negative, I know this is bad energy, but I think it's going to be a good while before we see that type of change with the direction you were going in because of the state of North Carolina. Now, you do got good towns. I love coming to Raleigh. Like, oh my God. Like, and then Charlotte, Wilmington Beach and all that other stuff. Like that's good energy. There's like those other three places, or well, the two in those places, there's like legit like a dark ass cloud, bro.
So, have you ever been in Jacksonville, North Carolina?
No, I haven't. But I've heard not as bad as these other places. I have heard things, but not too.
It's like Diet Fayetteville. It's
Diet Fayetteville?
Yeah, it's just the same. So they're both military towns.
Okay.
So Jacksonville's only claim to fame is that it's the biggest military base on the East Coast.
Okay.
And so that's
Not Liberty or Bragg, but not.
no,
Okay.
It's the biggest air base and everything.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you.
So that's where I grew up from like 4th grade through high school, and
You survived, but yeah.
yeah. So like going through all that, like we were actually talking about like people moving to Raleigh and like how sometimes it's hard to get a plan or like get the money or do things like this. Like me and my friends, as soon as we graduated, the three of us kind of drove up here and we just applied for an apartment, and they're like, "Yeah, you're accepted." We went, "Okay, now time to find jobs." And we literally just we graduated.
So there was hope out here versus being back in those areas, and it's kind of like,
we went somewhere's got to be better than
we
here.
almost done, sis. I promise. She was like,
yeah.
wrap it up. I'm fucking with you.
I
No,
got
you-
a text.
Yeah, I got you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we were like, it's got to be better somewhere than here, and we're like, why not the capital? It's like right there. We'll just go down. Yeah, it's like, it was definitely a good call for me at least, because like I don't know what I'd be doing now if I was still there.
Yeah.
There's just nothing there. There's
Yeah.
no opportunities. It's just hotels, restaurants. That's it.
Don't you ever
like I came
fucking
up
come
here,
there. Yeah.
and now like I'm printing bones for my job. Like you know, so there's.
So allow me to say this. Again, I've learned something. It. Please continue to promote that positive energy, regardless if you're introverted or not. Like there's still light at the end of the tunnel. I guess this is just my story. I've been introduced, no matter if it's lifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, or even cosplay. For some odd reason, all my introductions have been like in the toxic aspect. That's why when I see kind of good, I want to bring it to my channel and interview it and promote that. There are a lot of people, regardless of what the field or the profession is, whether it is cosplay, martial arts, or fitness, there's a lot of positivity that needs to be heard. I'm not. There's too much shit going on in this world, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna stop going off on a tangent. Diana, can you come in the middle for me real quick before I end it?
Yeah.
I apologize, brother. I'm gonna bring you
you're
back.
good.
So I'm all about giving people their flowers. So I want to start with my base, which was Chris. He was my very first person that I interviewed. Yeah, and he gave me the idea to start interviewing people. I wanted to bring you in for his part of the interview and just say thank you for again connecting this and making this work. I killed two birds with one stone. Continue to do what you guys are doing in this community. I feel like it's needed. Promote that positivity. Keep cosplaying. Keep doing what you're doing in life. And please allow me to bring y'all back, for a roundtable sit down.
Yeah,
and
of course.
But other than that, that's all I have. I'm gonna cut it here, brother. Thank you for coming. Hey man, I learned a lot. I really appreciate you.
No, and like the same thing with you, like having us bring this here and bring
I didn't mean to do
positivity,
that. I meant to do that after, but yeah, sorry, brother.
Well, like having you be here to spread that and like just be, I don't know, like this is the first time I've ever seen or met you, and I'm already like, oh, this guy's
Oh yeah, no, I stay in my shell for a reason. But with that being said, I know good when I see good.
Yeah, no, it's the same. It's like it's nice to meet people where like you can just talk about stuff, nerd out, like just have fun, So
And you did have fun?
yeah, no, for sure. Like, and I got you followed now too, so I've been like gonna go look through some of your other interviews, be like, oh, like what do we got here, So,
I got you.
but no, this was a great time.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank
too.
you. Now we out. Oh Lord Jesus, my back. Oh Lord Jesus, my foot.
But no, seriously though, like